Oh, that's oh, that's what we're all co-hosts.
We are.
So,
who's
who was
doing
pressing
this
who was
thing?
pressing the button?
I've done it.
All right, okay.
I've done it.
No,
Happy
that sounds
birthday.
like that's the good soundbite for the beginning of the episode. I think that bit right there.
It was a bit. Do we know what the hell we're doing? No idea at all.
Cut that bit.
Welcome to the Full Stop Podcast, a childless community podcast with Berenice Smith, Sarah Lawrence, and me, Michael Hughes. And if this is your first time here, our podcast delves into the many facets that make up the childless identity, as well as what is going on in our wider community. And our hope is that with all our special guests, we can help you craft your own narrative and what it means to be part of the childless community. And we also aim to educate those who are not in it, so they can begin to understand and support those they have in their lives who may be facing a life without children. Now, this episode is just the three of us. As we celebrate 4 years of podcasting together, we still can't believe it. And we are extremely excited to share some huge news with you all about the future of the podcast and our future plans. So let's get cracking with this episode. Oh dear.
It's ridiculous. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy 50. Well, this will be 51, but happy 50.
Happy birthday to us.
4 years.
Yes.
4 years. Happy
I
birthday
can't
to
believe
our
it.
listeners as well. Thank you for being with us for 4 years. If you've made it for 4 years, well done.
Yes.
You're really, honestly, hell, that's great. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you realise that we listen to on every continent except Antarctica?
Really?
And maybe there is someone that listens to us down there, but we just don't get the stats from that part of the world.
Is it penguins in Antarctica? Which way? Geography chat. We weren't doing geography.
Yes. There's penguins in Antarctica, but they're not in the Arctic.
Okay. Oh, good. Penguin facts. Always handy. Never know.
How do we go from bloody birthday to penguins?
I don't know. It's because you're sharing a room with me. That's what it is. It's just where we are, Zoom room's going. So we've got some news, haven't we? And
Yes.
yeah,
We
do. So it's just us, just for the benefit of our listeners, because obviously our listeners don't know. It's the three of us. So but we just wanted to share some good news with everybody. A nice news.
Yeah.
So who wants to go first? Sarah, I think you need to go first because what you say impacts on everything that Michael and I are going to say.
No pressure.
That's all right. Chuck you in there. Go on.
No, yeah. So the great news, and I am just so grateful that we persevered with it, because it's been a long time coming, isn't it, since we first started looking into this and started talking about it. So yes, the good news is finally we've set up as a community interest company, and what that means is that, in a way, because we've been doing the podcast for 4 years, and I don't think any of us believed for a minute when we first set up we're going to be here doing it 4 years later. When we put it together on the back of a fag packet, it was just like, yeah, we're just going to do it. Yeah. But actually, in setting up as the community interest company, it means that we are, I guess, basically making it a permanent thing. We're going to be a permanent fixture now, like the furniture. We're always going to be here. It means that we won't just come and go. It also means, in setting up as a CIC, for the benefit of everybody, because we didn't really know what they were when we first heard about them, it means that we're completely transparent. We're not set up as a business. We're set up as a community interest company, which means that we will be very honest and open about our finances, our processes, all of that stuff, so that in essence, you're almost part of it as well, because we didn't just want it to be a business. So you, in essence, you become part of this fixture of the childless community. So yeah, we're really excited about it. It's taken over a year.
Yeah. Can we just say a big thank you? I don't know if he listens, but we're probably going to make him listen, to Daniel, our accountant, who I've termed the saviour of all CICs. That's his kind of strapline, because he's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Daniel, for what you've done to help us. You talked us through everything as well. We had trouble just finding an accountant that could get the vibe of what we were doing. And that was really important. Where we can, we get people on board who understand the importance of supporting a community as diverse and as interesting as ours. And Daniel got that straight away when we spoke to him. It does also mean that we have an annual report for public record on public scrutiny. We're listed on Companies House. We can, if we wanted to, just to clear up the elephant in the room, pay a remuneration to the directors, of which that's who we are, now directors of the Full Stop community. But actually what we've agreed is that we will have kind of shareholding, if you want. So those will become a benefit that we want to bring back into the community at large as well. So any profits we make won't be to us, they'll be back to the work we do and the work that other people do as well. So it becomes kind of more of a collaborative thing. It felt important to support everybody in this, and it feels very grown up.
Doesn't it? Feels like we've graduated.
It's so hard not to talk about it, hasn't it? Because we've known since April about this, I think, something like that.
We actually started it last year, didn't we? Because I think we talked about it, didn't we? And
we talked about it in the January episode, didn't we?
We did.
2022, is that right?
We did, because I think we mentioned it in this January episode, going, it's a year and we haven't done anything. Well, nothing has happened yet. But for those who aren't in the UK, this is a UK-based entity, and yes, I'm in Australia. But I would just like to say that one of the reasons why we decided about this, and one of the things that made me very comfortable, is that we don't have this type of entity in Australia. So it is a business with primarily social obligations, whose surpluses are principally reinvested for that purpose into the business or the community that we represent. And that's what really got me, is that, it's now written in law, so to speak, that we give back to the community that we represent.
Yeah.
Ooh, hang on.
Oh, you did that very well. I was getting quite emotional there. I was getting emotional to what Sarah was saying. I'm like, oh my God, we can finally tell people. So other news. So again, with the CIC, if anyone has any concerns about anything at all, and you're listening going, oh, that sounds a bit official, I don't know what it means, ask us. Really ask us. It's absolutely fine to drop us an email. Our email addresses are our names followed by the full stop
at thefullstoppod.com.
At thefullstoppod.com. Yes, I always miss that. I get the P's wrong in our email addresses. I always miss one out, and I'm like, oh God. And actually, we could change them now, because actually, kind of unofficially, we become the full stop with a podcast, with a community. But anyway, fullstoppod.com. You can drop us a line on any of our social media accounts. That's fine too. One of us will pick them up, and we can answer any questions as well. It's absolutely fine. And you can drop a comment as well on the episode on the website as well. So please just ask. It's a big thing for us. We don't know all the answers, but we've been through everything, and we were very happy to do this because it feels like it secures something. It also means that the podcast really, and the Full Stop at General, becomes a thing that we can carry on, and if we wanted to, we can hand it over to other people to do. We can grow it, we can add more people in. We will always be the directors and founders of it, but other people can come in as persons of significant interest as well. And you never know, we might have more directors, we don't know. There's a whole kind of future out there waiting for us, but we know that we are legally compliant as well, because the other thing is that we have a proper bank account.
Yeah. Adulting, isn't
I
it?
know, Sarah. I'm sort of looking at you for that because that's kind of more your side of things, really. But yeah, we have a bank account with Wise. We had PayPal before, so when you've given us donations, which have helped us out with things like the transcriptions, which are all welcome. And thank you so much to everyone who donated. It's fantastic. But this means that we can now legally trade, because we didn't want to do that through our own bank accounts, not least because Sarah and I both have our own businesses, and it becomes it becomes very dodgy. It's not the right thing to do. So ethically, we're now doing the right thing as far as bank accounts go too. So again,
if only people knew how hard it was to get that bank account.
oh my God, ridiculous. So to cut a long story short, we went with one bank account. We were ethically, we wanted to have somewhere that, planted trees and did stuff. And so we went with Starling, and oh goodness, that was very painful. They queried Michael's residency. And actually it's too complicated. It wasn't really what we needed. So thank you very much to Wise for facilitating all of the things that we needed, and finally doing that once we realised that we had a problem with one of our forms of identity not being very clear. Literally at night before we recorded this episode. That's how quickly done. We like to fly on the edge of our
But yeah, it's very exciting, isn't it?
So 3 bits of news. That's the first bit of news, plus bank account as a bonus. Michael, your news.
Okay, so some time ago we were approached to be part of an event in Chester in September.
We were there last year, weren't we? You and I on a screen.
Yeah, last year we did it virtually, but this year I'm really happy to say, God, I can feel it coming again. I've been so good lately. But anyway, this year, Vicky and I are going to travel over to the UK so that we can attend the Story House event in Chester on the weekend of the 22nd of September. Now, tickets aren't available right now, but it's all planned. The airfares are paid for, and we're coming over so that Sarah, Berenice, and I can be in the same room for the very first time in the life of this podcast.
It's gonna be
I'll
weird.
cry.
It's going to be weird.
I'm just putting it out there. I cry.
It's the 23rd and the 24th, just to let people know.
Okay.
And it's not on Storyhouse Live's website yet, but it will be next month.
Yeah, the reason I say the 22nd is because we've booked into a hotel in Chester on the 22nd after we leave the one in Derby. Anyway, but this brings me to another question. I'm going to spring this on you too, so our audience, these who do not know it's coming. But I'm a hugger. And so you don't have to answer me now, but I'm a hugger, and I hug. I don't discriminate. I hug everyone. It's actually quite funny when I hug some guys, because that you could really feel how uncomfortable it is. Sarah Roberts, I hope you're listening, because I know you listen to the podcast, but I can feel that every time I hug her partner when I go up to Queensland and go and see them. I like giving Kev a hug, but you can just feel he's a little bit uncomfortable. But I'll make him comfortable with it. Don't you worry.
Careful
so yeah,
now.
I'm a hugger. So I'm just putting it out there. All right, I'm a hugger.
Okay.
So you just drop me a personal message if you go, I'm not a hugger, so don't hug me. All right.
I'll be honest, I do hug, but it's reserved for special people.
Yeah.
So you will get a hug.
All right then. Okay. So we're good there.
We can judge. Did Sarah hug that person? No.
Yeah, it's an exclusive hug.
Oh, I've not really thought about hugging, I have to say. This is an interesting digression into something that I wasn't really thinking.
Well, I'm very aware of it. Because when I go out, Australia, it's not a big thing. It's blokes and we hug. It's just a sort of matey thing that you do. But I've noticed when I go out of the country, it's it's not something that a lot of males in particular feel comfortable with.
No.
But also, I think post-COVID as well, we got to kind of be respectful of, do people want to hug or not? I think I probably am a hugger. I think probably, again, probably a bit like you, Sarah. It's kind of like special people.
Yeah.
I have to give mention here, actually, because one of the most funniest things ever was when I met you, Vicky, Michael, down in that pub in Shepherd's Bush. And we were down there, and I was actually walking down I had no idea where the pub was. And I was actually meeting Steph first. So Steph World Childless Week, and I'm walking down this street in Shepherd's Bush thinking, where the hell is this pub? And I'm ringing Steph, and then there's Steph and I literally on our mobiles on the street walking down there, still talking to each other whilst we could see each other, and kind of finally putting it down when we hugged each other. You know, this is just nonsense. We also frightened quite a few people on St Pancras Station once. The first time I met Steph, we were literally sort of screaming at each other. Pigeons flew off at that particular point. We frightened the pigeons of St Pancras. A decibel probably only heard to them. Anyway, I won't be doing that sort of thing probably, but I probably will.
So I was just going to finish off with Chester and just say that so far we're planning to do a live podcast on Sunday morning. Mm-hmm. So which is great for me, because you probably won't be able to see it, but hang on. Sorry for our audience.
Our listeners can't.
Can you see that? Can you see that cabinet?
Yeah.
See all the rubbish on that?
Mm-hmm.
That's all my technology. So I've got wireless microphones. I've got. I know Storyhouse have got lots of stuff, but me too. So it's been really good. I've had a bit of retail therapy just for this holiday.
Really? Never mind the airfare. Michael's just shown us a table full of boxes of stuff and tech. No idea. Obviously, most people kind of go abroad and they take a suitcase for things they want to take back. Michael was taking an extra suitcase for things he wants to take there and take back as well that involve the podcast. So there we go.
You see that?
What is that?
It's a microphone.
It's a microphone.
Microphone, everybody.
Yeah, wireless microphone, so you can.
I'm sure they've got them in Wales.
I know they probably have.
We're not that backward in the UK. But
if, because one of the things we talked about earlier was that maybe we should do some sort of event on the east coast of Australia.
Oh, there you go.
on the east coast of England, because obviously Chester's northwest. We could. I've got gear that we might be able to use that, or we might even be able to interview some people. Who knows?
Let us know if you're kind of keen on doing something with us, because obviously we know that the UK not that big, but it's still a bit of a nuisance sometimes, and you can feel a bit excluded if you're kind of in one part of the country and not another. If you're up for something, then and there's a venue and you think you want to kind of do something with us, then please let us know within what the possibilities are of Michael's travel plans, and we'll try and do something. So details to follow, but do let us know. Again, social media, drop us an email. You can drop Michael an email, michael@fullstoppod.com, and we'll try and sort something out on that as well. So
more than happy to if we're passing by, more than happy to stop in for a cup of tea. We've had a few offers already.
Oh,
so we cover all the points of Chester.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's about as much as we can tell you at the moment, because it's all in planning. And just to say thank you to everybody at Storyhouse Live for inviting us. Fantastic. We're really pleased that we're going to be there. And there's loads of other exciting stuff going on. Obviously not all podcasts. We're only a small part of it. There's tons of other things going on, and no doubt you'll probably start to see things happening on social media as well. And where we can, we'll share as much of that information with you as well, and retweet and whatnot.
I'm really looking forward. So the Childless Men's community is already talking, and there's a number of guys from that coming, and so I'm really. Here we go again.
You're going to meet quite a few people that you've helped and supported along the way, Michael.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
I bet. We're going to be invading Chester. It's going to be amazing, isn't it? What do you think?
Oh, sorry. While we're talking, sorry, I know I'm hijacking this for a minute, but I've got one other request.
Mhm.
Vicky has been driving me mad, saying, "Michael, you need a uniform. You need the Full Stop podcast on a t-shirt or a shirt or something.
Oh
Talk to the
God.
girls. Let me know because I'll organise it."
Oh my God. Do you know what? I was chatting to Isabel, a friend of mine, who was doing loads of sterling work with her own commentary on the Eurovision last night. So at the time of recording, Eurovision was on the 13th of May, the Eurovision Song Contest, that is. And we were sitting there watching it at home, and various friends of mine were all sharing stuff. And I eventually capitulated and thought, I have to watch this thing because, frankly, everybody else is. And I had a bit of FOMO. And we started watching it going, yeah, there's an outfit you could wear to Chester.
What one?
It was outfit commentary, it became for a while. And there's just like, there was nothing. There was some with a cape on, but some, I'm like, no, really, I couldn't walk in those heels, never mind the revealing costume. So I think a t-shirt sounds like a great idea. Yes. But
I was going to say the alternative would be what, like a onesie slash the waist or something.
I don't know. There was some very dodgy outfits on Eurovision last night. Very dodgy indeed. That made the Australian entry. Why Australia at the Eurovision Song Contest? Please let us know.
Well,
Yeah,
don't
they
ask an
actually
Aussie
look
because
quite
we've got no
tame.
idea either.
No, I don't know. Actually, I quite like their hair, Australia. They had quite a lot of long hair going on. I had hair envy at some point. So anyway, but
I'll be
yes.
honest, I didn't see any of it. I don't watch it. But
No, we don't normally. To be honest, and we just got dragged into it by virtue of social media and various friends, and mostly Isabel, who, if you're listening, Isabel, I blame it entirely on you as to why I went to bed so late last night. Anyway,
I've got mates that are obsessed with it. I think it's got a whole subculture on it, isn't it? But
Oh, it has. Yeah, it has. And of course for Graham Norton, because I just love Graham Norton's commentary, mostly Graham Norton. Just listen to him for hours. It was quite funny, quite catty, but very good. We're digressing again, aren't we? It's got nothing to do with the podcast. So our next news, the last bit of news, just in case you were overwhelmed by news, is that we are setting up a community space. And it's a place, a gathering spot, a meeting point, really, for people. We're inviting you in to be part of the podcast, a bit more part of what we do, and also a bit behind the scenes. And we've settled on a platform that we would like to use for this, which is very lovely, looks a bit like Facebook, but it's not Facebook because it's ours. One of the things with doing anything on any other platform like Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, anything that we do, it's their kind of data, not ours, and it's not always particularly safe, and you can get locked out of places like that too quite easily. There's a whole kind of security thing around that, and we wanted to have something that we could develop that was ours, which will be something we will pay for. And within that, we will be offering things such as recording the podcast within the platform. So you can come along and you can be in our virtual audience. We will be looking at things like something I've termed, and they're called Culture Club, about sharing stuff, chat around kind of comedians and going out and things like that, enabling people to connect with each other and generally kind of shaping it the way that our community would like to do it. What would you like us to do in there? We've got some ideas, and we are looking to soft launch this over the next few weeks. And by the next episode of the podcast, we will be inviting people to come into it. That's our deadline. We're setting it for ourselves because otherwise we will sit and wobble about it and go, we'll probably break it. That's going to happen. We're not, we know this stuff, but we're learning with you. And to create spaces. So the idea is that there will be, going forward, potentially 2 levels of membership, so that there's an option for access to some areas at what we believe to be a reasonable amount of money. We'll be doing trials for free as well. We're looking at that so people can have just a month to play around to see if they like it or not. And then a higher level of membership that will give you access to more things. We're working out right now what those more things are and what the other things are, so that there will always be business as usual. We turn up every month recording the podcast. We're just going to do it in a different place. It won't be on Zoom, which will be a bit different for our guests, but it means our guests get to meet some of our community as well. So it's a great benefit for them too. The podcast will still go on the website, as it always does, with the same cover sheets and the show notes, and the newsletter will continue. Currently, the newsletter will continue in the way that it does at the moment, but it might well be that it alters a little bit, perhaps, in some of the ways that it works. And again, if you've got any feedback on our newsletter, we're always welcome to listen to you about that too and shape that as well. But it seems like it's currently very popular, so thank you to all the people that read it. Our engagement rates are tremendous. And I always find that quite overwhelming, because I know what it's like in business world when you do a newsletter. I know our engagement rates are to be envied. So thank you for being part of that with us. So we're at the exploratory point right now, and you will see it very soon on our website. Look out for a page coming very shortly with details of what it's going to look like and what we're going to be doing in it. And in our next newsletter after this one, for our June episode, and probably around the time of the June episode, we were hoping to invite you in, so you can come and have a root around and have a play and see if you like it. And if you like it, then we would like to welcome you into our space. We do have to put a charge, and I'm so sorry about that. I know that's a difficult thing for us to ask of anybody, but the software itself costs us money to do. And one of the reasons why we wanted to become a CIC, to open the bank account and to do the things we do, is to continue our longevity. And to do that, because of rising costs for things like the way we distribute the podcast. So we do that via Podbean, that's a cost. The website's a cost. Our social media platforms now have a cost. So when we look at kind of distributing our content out, they all have chargeable things. And of course, the transcriptions are also a cost too. But that all said, if you want to know our costs, in the interest of transparency, we will tell you what they are. We're not hiding that from you. Anytime you can ask any one of us and we will let you know. And again, they'll have a public record for public scrutiny will happen each year. So we have to show what we're doing and show that we are giving value and a benefit to the community. Again, transparency matters. And we are thinking very long and hard about this. So having a membership or a community matters to us, so that we can all come together and you can help us shape the podcast for the future, but also that we can support other people within the community too. We have so many people doing wonderful things. Gosh, there's so many ventures out there. Some of them are louder than others and some of them aren't. And what we'd like to do is to be able to invite people into the community to share them equally. So if you're a business owner, if maybe you've done a plan B, C or D off the back of one of our New Beginnings episodes and you're struggling to get that out there, then actually we can help you with that. That's part of the benefit of the community. We will have a business space for business owners where you can share your stuff. We are inviting moderators in, so it will be a safe space with moderators, and we'll be inviting people to do that for us. Yeah. Develop conversations. Yeah. Help me out here, you two. You've gone quiet.
You were doing such a good job. I was just sitting there, oh, okay. Yes, we're doing this.
Is that useful, Sarah, to know? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think the important thing to take away is that, like the podcast, we're kind of feeling our way, aren't we? But ultimately, it goes back to our very reason for starting, and that's the community. So, as Berenice has kind of said, we've got some ideas. You've probably got ideas, and as time goes on, it'll evolve. But we just want to have a really open, safe space basically to bring the community together. I mean, for me, I remember Googling when I first joined this community, and I could find so little, and it's all spread out, isn't it? As you say, there's some loud voices, there's some not so loud voices, but there's so much valuable stuff, and we just kind of want to bring it all together in a nice, safe, friendly environment. People can get together, you know, whether it's as an individual, as a business, whatever your interest is, but there is at least somewhere for us where we can grow and develop together, really. And that's kind of why we've done it, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's it. That community.
Yeah, and listing the resources I think is really important too. So there'll be certain areas that will be accessed to everybody, and that will also mean the resources as well. So I think if you're doing something, and again this goes with the website as well, if you're doing something and you want us to list it onto the website for the Full Stop, then you can do so as well. You just need to email me about that, Berenice at thefullstoppod.com, and I'll get that sorted out for you. That really matters, that we are giving equal weight to everybody. As long as it's for the childless community, again, like everything, this is really important, is that our guests are all childless. We're obviously childless, and that it is specifically for that. So there's no trigger points or anything that we don't know of. We can't begin to look through every resource because there's so many of them. We trust that people will recommend things to us that they think is safe based on what they know of us. So yeah, I think that's a really important point to add there. We try and keep it as safe as we possibly can, but we would really like to hear from people who are doing something already in the community. This is not set up as a competition to anything. It's done with the goodness of our hearts to kind of create the central place, which we've always been wanting to do, and to build on the audience that we've got, in the sense that, you know, this is quite a unique thing, a podcast talking about childlessness. I don't think there's anything else quite like it. And of course that means we have different audience perhaps to other ventures going on, but it doesn't mean to say that we can't share any of that too. We're also very conscious as well that social media is really tricky at the moment. Really tricky. I mean, I principally, I suppose, probably look after most of the social media, and it's really hard. Twitter is doing okay, surprisingly. I kept thinking, oh, do I want to come off this? But actually, I think it provides an invaluable resource on Twitter. Facebook is really hard right now. I think anything with Meta is difficult. But we're on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn's going really well too. But they're all disparate things. And we don't always share the same stuff across every single platform, because it doesn't always work on every platform. And what this does is brings everyone together, but it might help, I think, in terms of tracking what people are doing, because there's so much stuff going on right now, particularly around we're conscious that today is Mother's Day for some of you at the time of recording in the international audience. Father's Day is coming up in the UK. Getting all that support together really matters as well.
And we will be the only community hub that spreads across every gender identity.
Yeah, we welcome all. I think that's the important thing. If you're childless, not by choice, we welcome you all regardless of gender and sexuality. It's an open space for everybody.
Yeah. So I remember one of our episode with Elaine. I can hear her. I can see your ears picking up, Elaine, going, "Oh, didn't we talk about a singles club?"
Yeah, that's where my brain went.
Yeah, I know. I'm not suggesting that's going to happen, but I just thought it was worth a mention because that was quite fun.
It's something that we've been asked for. I think this is the thing that is really important to point here, is that it's a big risk for us. I mean, the CIC is a risk. The bank account, vaguely a risk. Probably the least risk, actually. Growing all of this is also a risk too. There's quite a lot of stuff going on here that, it's taken its toll on us a little bit, hasn't it? I think it's probably fair to say, just thinking about, it's coming up for Mental Health Awareness Week as well, and just thinking about, our mental health and our capacity and how we're feeling about stuff too. It's a bit scary, actually. It's quite a lot to take on. So, but we've been asked. And if you're asked about something and we think we can facilitate it, and we think we can, then, this is a good thing. We could very easily break stuff because, why would we not? And there might be other stuff. It might well be that you're listening to this going, yeah, okay, well, that's all right. Quite like this idea of kind of a community hub. It sounds great. But what about this? What about that? Again, let us know if there is something else. We might not be able to facilitate it ourselves, but we might have the resources. We might know something. We're exploring things because now we're a CIC. We can explore things like grants because we have the necessary legal stature to be able to do that now. So it might well be that perhaps we could facilitate something through the community hub that's a venture of yours that you think will benefit the community, and we can look at that with grants and other things too. It's kind of like an open forum. Obviously, as directors, we have a responsibility and a due diligence with our names above the door. God, that sounds so weird to say that, doesn't it?
But I think you're right, though. I love that. I love that idea that we as a community. So, I was always a little bit uncomfortable about the having a paid membership thing, but we've got a CIC. We have now got it in law that we need to. We are required to give back to our community. And how good would that feel? That someone goes, look, I've got this idea and I need help, and we can go, here's the grant.
Yeah.
Because your community gave us the resources and the wherewithal to be able to help you, regardless of where you are in the world. So it's not just us three; it's a whole community being able to help other people. We're just facilitating that organisation to be able to do it. And I just think that's bloody wonderful. And I'm just surprised I didn't choke on that one too.
No,
right, I was going. Don't worry. I got emotional the other week because of the whole thing with kind of meeting both of you. I've met you both, but you've not met each other. We've not all stood in the same room. I'm quite overwhelmed by where we've come from. I can remember. I remember meeting you, Michael, and we were talking about podcasts. You were talking about true crime podcasts, and I thought, Michael listens to podcasts. I listen to podcasts. And then Sarah, it was just your skills, the way that you talk with people, the way that you have this brilliant mind at questioning people. You think of questions I could never think of. I always admire that so much about you. And of course, the whole counselling, the way that you look after people and create spaces. And I thought, oh. And actually I thought, oh, I could build a website. I don't know that I thought anything beyond myself apart from I could just build a nice pretty website, really, actually. That was sort of my thoughts on that. But I just knew that there was something we could just give it a go, try it out. And then I went to a thing so we launched in the May. And I think the following March, I went to a thing about social media in Cambridge. And there was a guy talking about podcasts and that you need to get past 8 episodes. Once you get past episode 8, then you'll be on the way. It'll become a habit and you'll get on with it. And you need to have this equipment, that equipment. And if you sign up to this particular thing and that particular doodah and whatnot, then do those things. And I was thinking, oh, we've done all of that. Oh, we've already done this stuff. We actually probably have a proper podcast then, actually. It's a legit thing because we ticked off this stuff that this guy had said that we do. It became official then. I think it's quite amazing that we've managed to do something for 4 years, this length of time, this many episodes, with all the guests that we've had, and goodness, our guests have been all universally brilliant. And we're still sitting there laughing. I mean, it's a load, isn't it? It is, and certainly the last 2 months has been tricky. We've all had stuff going on in our personal lives that's been difficult, and that'll still carry on. We have personal lives. We also have professional lives as well, plus the podcast. It's not particularly easy to do. And there is a sense that, there's a lot of emotion here today. about this because it feels like a big thing. You know, it's certainly last night. I mean, the CIC came through and we were like, wow. Oh, and then last night when the bank account got open, it really did feel proper official then, because somehow that feels more official than anything to me. But we've all had moments, I think, the three of us, where we've gone, holy crap, we're doing this thing. Yeah. And actually, I think all last night I was awake thinking about meeting up. Actually, that was on my mind last night. I didn't sleep very well, not for any reason other than just probably feels a bit like sort of like a big thing to us. And that was one of the other things, actually, I'm just digressing again, is that one of the areas we wanted to create on our community hub will be a little chat area where people can celebrate something important to them, because they're very aware that this was very important to us, but probably to people around us in our wider families, they'll be like, you what? It's not a big deal to them, whereas we're kind of buzzing with the excitement. And I really hope you are as well, when you're listening to us. If not a bit of trepidation too, but I get that too. I hope we all get that. People will be like, oh God, it's changing. It's not. Honestly, we will be business as usual as well. If you don't want to do the hub or anything like that, then that's okay. We will still be around. We want to really, really emphasize that. We're not going anywhere. We'll still be on social media. You'll still get the podcast as you do normally. Where was I going to? Yes. Sorry, so much in my head at the moment. It's like a whole kind of like mess in there right now. But yeah, celebrating people's achievements as well. So that might be that you planted a plant that's come out. I'm really excited at the moment, can I say, about the roses in my garden, because there's one that I've got that really, really wasn't doing very, very well, and now it's doing very well. I'm very happy about this. It's actually making me very happy to do that, but you wouldn't celebrate that, would you? But actually it is a celebration. It's a lovely thing to do, to get out there and be in nature. Or it might well be something bigger. Maybe you graduated, or maybe you signed up to a new course, or I don't know, maybe you're running a business and your client paid you on the same day you invoiced. They're all things that are really exciting things that happen. So an area for that, I think, would be really lovely, so we can celebrate with you as well. I think that's important. So it's about honest conversations. It's about finding help. It would be about probably some live stuff going on. We might do some tea breaks. We would like to invite moderators to do things like that too. So trying to create a bit more of us and a bit more engagement with us too, but not too much so that you feel like you're just completely bored of us. You're allowed to say that too. Everyone has a voice. Just shaping it, trialing it out, testing it out, seeing where we get to, finding out what we can do to support other people in our community, and also all of our guests as well. I think that matters as well, because our guests give up a couple of hours of their time on usually a Sunday morning. It can often be in a different time zone, so being able to give them more access and something back is also really important too. So a big thank you to everyone that's been a guest on our podcast, and to everyone that's listened. Thank you so much. We wouldn't be talking and having this conversation if it wasn't for all of you.
I'd like to back that up with some of the stats that we have. And when you look at that long list of countries that we listen to, it's just absolutely incredible. And so I wish I could speak all the languages, but I'm just going to have, I'm only a simple man and I can only speak English. But thank you in as many languages as you can imagine.
Feels quite humbling, doesn't it?
It does.
So yeah, big thank you to everyone. And I'm very excited. I have to admit, I'm very excited to be doing this. It feels like, I don't know, next big step, but a really important one for us and for the community. So yeah, thank you for listening for the last 4 years.
Thank you for listening. And we again are sincerely thankful for all your loyalty to our work. And for those that have donated to us, we are eternally grateful. If you want to find out more about our podcast or have a burning topic we have not covered, please reach out to us, as we would like to be as inclusive and diverse as possible. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and of course at our website, www.thefullstoppod.com. And of course, once we launch our community hub. So keep an eye on our socials and our website for that news. Better still, if you haven't already, pop over to our website where you can sign up to our listeners list where you can keep up to date with what's going on with the Hub. And if you'd like to support us, you can also find the links to donate here too. Now, we would love it if you could rate the podcast on the platform you're using, and this will help the algorithm get us in front of more of our community. And as always, it's important for us to let you know you are not alone.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you to you too.
Yeah, right back at you.
Without you. That's none of the emotional stuff.
Yeah. It's going to be weird.
I just like to say I love us. All right? I love us.
We love you, Michael.
Yeah, right back at you. It's going to be weird seeing your legs, I've got to be honest.